Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna learn I'm Batsy. It's a fondant tutorial. I hope you all enjoy it. It was fun for me. So this is a list of all the items that I used in order to make I'm Batsy. I'll also include a list of these items in the description along with this video. So I really hope you all enjoy it. Remember, visit my site, shopfleurthetreats.com, where you can find all of my trinket tools and my brand new ooey gooey ediGLUEY that you absolutely will need. So what I used here was 1 ounce of black fondant. Feel free to add or subtract depending on how big you want your Batsy to be. I also used a lot of my tools from my trinKITS toolkit and rolled out my black fondant to about 1/4 inch thick. I used regular old plastic wrap to cover the fondant because I wanted to give my bat wings a more curved appearance. So I used a plastic wrap to do that. That is a 2.25-inch round cutter that I used to cut out the wings of my bat. And what I'm going to do is I always try and smooth out the edges of my fondant just so that you have a cleaner look, more polished, neater. So make sure you smooth down those edges. I always use the grid line on my mat as a guide to cut my line straight. I would suggest you do that too. It's just so that your bow pieces are even. So I use the Fondant Cutter to cut both of my sides even. Then I used a 1.25-inch cutter to cut the details in each wing part. Don't throw away that black fondant. We're going to use it later to make his little head. So with the leftover fondant, I rolled it into a ball and I used that ball to make the body or head of the bat. It was about 0.5 ounces of fondant that I used to make this. Make sure you get that ball neat. Make sure you get all of those marks and creases out of your fondant. That really helps with making your piece neat. I place that ball right in the center of my wings. This will be a perfect time to use some of my ooey gooey ediGLUEY to make sure those fondant pieces stay together. I use my blade tool from my trinket set to make it fit perfect and to smooth everything out. Of course, you can find that at shopfleurthetreats.com. I use the large balling tool in order to make the eye sockets. The balling tool makes it really neat, clean, and quick. You can find that on my website, shopfleurthetreats.com. Shameless plug. So what I'm doing is I'm just rolling out some of my black fondant, and I used a diamond cutter that was about 1.25 inches by 1 inch to make his little ears. And again, I placed it on my grid, and I used my grid line to cut the diamond into 2 equal halves. Use that grid line, use that grid line. That should be a song. And then I just kind of crimp the little ears to give it a little bit more detail and finesse, because my bat is sassy. My Batsy is sassy. Once you've got your ears all formed, you're going to use a little ooey gooey ediGLUEY to secure those ears to the top of his head. You can find that at shopfleurtreats.com. It's ooey gooey ediGLUEY. It smells so good. It's completely edible, and it will work on just about any of your sweet and sugar projects. That's a little ooey, a ooey, a ooey, and a gluey, a ooey, and a gluey. Okay, and don't forget, shameless plug, on sale right now or some of my previous videos that you can download, save, and watch whenever you feel like it. You buy it, you own it, it's yours. You can find that on my website at shopfleurtreats.com. That was a shameless plug, but not for real. Back to Batsy. So I used about 0.25 ounces of white fondant to make his little eyes. You probably won't use all of that, but that's what I started with, and I kind of I was breaking it down just to make sure it was enough to fit in a socket. Before I glue them in, I always do like a little trial to make sure they fit perfectly. Now there's a little bit more ooey gooey ediGLUEY. It smells like blueberry wonderfulness. I love it. And I just pop those eye sockets right in. And again, use my ball tool to kind of press it out and to make it fit into the socket perfectly. I got a little black fondant on my white, so I'm a little anal and I felt like I wanted to redo it. And what actually happened was I did redo it because I just didn't like the way that black had gotten on my white. Again, all of these tools can be found on my website, shopfleurtreats.com, along with mentorships and Zoom and virtual classes. Also hands-on in-person too. I don't mind hooking up. As long as we wear our masks, stay safe. We got this. Once again, I'm going to add just a small amount of ooey gooey ediGLUEY so that I can attach the blacks of his eyes. You may want to use a stick pin to pick those up because they're really, really tiny and you don't want to get them all out of shape. Once you get them in place, you can use the smaller balling tool or the bigger one to kind of shape those into perfect little circles. I use the flower and leaf shaper to make his little mouth. That's also one of the tools that can be found in my trinKITS tool set. I thought his little mouth was so cute. He's like, ah! He's terrified. And then I'm going to do just like a little teeny tiny piece of white. I don't even know how much that was. It was the smallest amount of white, almost the size of like a stick pin head. It was very, very tiny. And I did use a stick pin to pick it up and put it in place. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have been able to do it. And then I used a smaller ball tool to kind of shape it into the little shape that I wanted for his little eye. Him little eye. So him could see. It's so cute. Alright, now if you wanted to add a little bit more detail because you extra like me, I just used my blade tool to kind of give his little wings a couple of more little details. You can leave this out. It was like a last minute thing. It's very hard for me to step away from the fondant figure. So that's how he ended up. And I used the taper cone tool to just put these little extra details in his little cheeks and in his little wings, just to make him like a little bit more sassy, classy baddie. But thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, watch, and subscribe. Thanks again. ShopFleurTreats.com, guys.